Hello, welcome, Shed Guy here. Going to make some random parts on the lathe, so just a bit. Turns out you've got a little well on your tailstock where your tailstock dipper should live. And the reason for that is if you're using a dead center, you can have your high friction oil in the well and just dip it on. Amazingly, I have a sort of long piece of stock. Can't believe it. So what I'm going to do is just pop that in the collet and we'll give it a go. I'll face it off first. I use the high-speed steel and then I'll jog on to carbide. Give the high-speed steel a go just for hell. Yeah, so there's nothing wrong with a high-speed steel cutter. So I'm going to mark it out, but I'll start with putting a small center in. Okay, so I'll feed that out. And we'll see if we can get that marked up. I'm probably going to use about that sort of length. I'm aiming to make 3 parts. Blow out the center. Lock it. Okay, so that's now pretty centered up. We're making that dodgy part. Yeah, condensation dripped off the ceiling, so such is life. The old die-chem blue. All right, and I'm going to roughly mark that up. Just put my calipers on there and scribe lines where I want them. All right, so that's my final mark there for that one piece. Okay, so we've got it marked off. We're going to hit reverse. That's the extent of this single part. Then we're going to hit forward and mark the extent of the knurl, because of the knurl on this part. Okay, so the knurl's between those 2 marks. Now I'm going to mark up the next piece, and I'm going to make 3 of these parts. So marking off again from that 0 position. So 42 is the extent of the part. We've extended that out and just repeated the process there. Okay, so that's the last part. We've got 3 pieces to make, and we've got to knurl here, here and here. Okay, so we've just used the center. So this is on center height now. Drop the tool back in, and then we're going to knurl the 3 sections. Okay, so we're set on 88 RPM. It's coming around the side. I'm on dead center. Here, both wheels are turning, so I'm going to go for about, that's just under a quarter of a turn. My center's rotating, it's not stopping. Okay, I can hear it working there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's about the right depth of knurl. Feels right, it's a small part. So we're going to move on to the next knurling part, but we're not going to adjust that, just going with it. We're on knurl number 3. What I'm trying to do is avoid changing the tool all the time, because that's a chew on. Knurl number 3. Happy days. Okay, so I think that rather than be too clever, what I'm going to do now is just do these as individual parts. So I've taken the center out, and I will take that off the machine. Let's see if these knurls go through, because of course it increases the diameter. Ooh. Okay, so now I'm going to make up part number 1. Okay, so I'm going to take the centre out, that way I won't ruin my hands. Right, well, we've run some marks on that now, so let's start hogging it off. So that's where I want to be to. This is a carbide tool, so I'd expect a really nice finish there. So I think the edge of that carbide's gone. Right, I'll replace it. They are remarkable cutters. That was going through some hardened steel the other day, so I think it's just given up the ghost. Let's try again. So quite a decent cut. That's feeling a bit happier with itself. I'll put some cooler on. So the dipstick's supposed to be 1/8 of an inch diameter. I'll zero my dial. Looking for a final diameter on this bit at 0.125. Just going to do this by hand because we're trying to make a cut now on a skinny piece of stuff. Right, so what I'm going to do is measure that. So I need to put a 25 thou cut on. 50 thou to go. That sounds like a lot, doesn't it? Yeah, so we're looking good there. So I'm doing it as a heavy cut because I can't put much tool pressure on this part. Tool pressure's in this direction. There's my dipstick bit. Okay. So I've just been slowly creeping up on it and then part it off. So we're looking good. We're going to polish that down. A little bit of paper. Not putting too much pressure on that skinny tip. Then what I can do is cut this to length and all the rest when I've got it in the on the tailstock. So I'm making 3 parts, but this little diameter that it sits in each of the tailstocks is different on all 3. Right, so we'll part it off, stick it in reverse. So there's my parts, and we'll try it in a minute. So taking it out, flipped it, smaller collet, hit the loud button, take the pip off. So you can take about 1 millimetre off it. Which is about that. Now I'm going to chamfer off the end with some random tool that, you know, you just got in a bundle of stuff that just turned up, and I don't know. Basically, I think it's just rounding the edge off so that stuff doesn't pool on the surface. Then put your fingers in the machine. Don't put your fingers in the machine. All the edges here are smooth, so I'm not going to get my fingers stuck in a machine. And out we come. So we're getting another couple out of that.
Just struggling out your feet at the end. It goes. Tools on a nice height. Set stop. Right, so looking good. Flying around a bit there, so we'll just slow that down. In reverse.
There you go, part number 2. I'm going to pull this out and do part number 3.
Smoking! See where we're at? Woo! So 4, 4, 8. 10, 11, 12. So I'm shooting, it's a different size, I'm shooting for that. Sometimes wonder about my measuring because you measure things and you think, oh wait a minute, that looks like a really complete cock again.
Tight, so enough. Ah, didn't want to do that. Yeah. Okay, so we've made up the different parts now, and the one that was a little bit slack I've made into a screwdriver for fun. So I've got a little screwdriver. The waste here was a little bit thick and fat. I did that with the insert tool. So I did that with that insert tool, and I thinned down the waste. That insert tool won't quite make it in there with a form tool. So my form tool did a better job. And let's have a look at the diameter of that. I'm going to call that about 0.180. So the minute I did all of this, and from the drawing that Ray gave me with a little tweak here and there, of course up on eBay comes the real thing. I remeasured it all, and the measurements are about right. So there's your flea bay one. Haven't seen it ever before, so the minute I've made a blooming dipper stick, it appears. The only difference being there's a flat just on one side, and it doesn't seem to make much difference. I think it's been nickel plated, it looks prettier, but essentially your drawing here is not far off. So happy days, all good, I'm off. Shed Guy out.